be doing a couple different single arm overhead hold progressions. The most important thing about this is to keep everything nice and stacked. So we'll start at the feet. Now starting at the feet, we just want our feet planted on the ground, and we want to make sure that we're stable. So try your best to not have your feet too close together or too wide. So just underneath the hips, that'll be the most stable point. Next, we're going to move on to the hips. We want to make sure that our pelvis isn't anteriorly tilted or too posteriorly tilted. So just find a neutral position. I like to imagine having a belt on, and I'm trying to level out my belt. Okay, so from here, a slight bend to the knees, feet are planted in the ground, and then working on the thoracic spine. So I just want to lift up my chest nice and proud without leaning back, so everything's neutral here. When we bring our arms overhead, this is often where most individuals struggle due to lack of mobility. You know, we might get stuck here, so then we tend to lean back a little bit more. So we definitely want to work on that overhead mobility before we even hold any sort of weight. So getting that arm right overhead without changing the neutrality of your spine, that's very, very important. So keeping those abs engaged and then bringing the arm up. Ideally, what we want is to have a straight line from my hand all the way to my heel, and that's going to be a really strong position to hold on to. So we can start with something light, maybe just a light dumbbell, right? Keeping my feet planted, pelvis tucked, chest spread, and just punch up. And we're just going to hold it. And what you'll notice is as you start to get fatigued, it's going to start wanting to move around, and all of the muscles that stabilize your shoulder joint and your wrist joint have to work really hard just to keep this up. You can also use kettlebells, for example, just for a rack position and just go. Kettlebells work like that too. One thing I also like to do with the kettlebell to make it a little bit more challenging is to go into a bottoms up carry. So that's just holding the kettlebell upside down. If you are going to do this, just be careful and make sure you have your thumb wrapped on the other side, because we don't want the kettlebell to fall and hit you in the head. So here, we're going up. So this adds a little bit of an extra challenge to the wrist and to the forearms there. And we're just holding as tight as we can. Okay. You can also use things like balls. This requires good wrist extension. So if you do this, again, be careful with this one, keeping everything tight. You want to feel confident with this one first before you even bring it overhead, right? Holding it like this. You can even use larger objects like bags, really anything you want. And if you can get a good, strong overhead carry, it's really indicative of everything below the hand here and how strong and stable that is. So I really, really like this exercise. Start on your weak side first, and then move on to your strong side. Give it a try.